Hey guys, sorry, it's all wobbly. It's my phone camera. Anyways, I don't know what really possessed me to make a video because that is not my thing. I'm not like super good at social media, but I have been reading a lot of stories recently about people not being able to get proper treatment, not being taken seriously by healthcare providers, and it's made me really frustrated and really sad that that happens, even though I know that it does because I'm a nurse and so I see it every day. So I figured maybe I'd tell my story of how I got diagnosed with a chronic condition called POTS dysautonomia, and the hopes really that it would uplift other people. And then, if you're fighting to get answers or explanations for symptoms that you're having, don't give up. So I'm going to this might be a little bit of a long video, so thank you if you stick through to the end, but I just really kind of want to say what I go through, and hopefully it'll help inspire you to know that you can get through it too. So a year ago in May, I woke up in the middle of the night after feeling fine. I've never had really any medical problems in the past. And I woke up in the middle of the night just feeling like I couldn't get a good breath, like I couldn't breathe. I'm a nurse and I know that I can breathe because I can talk and I can move around, but feeling like you can't, even though it makes you think you're insane, like you're crazy. So I took about 4 showers that night because I felt better in the shower, and I don't really know what that's about. But anyways, so finally got to sleep around 2 or 3 in the morning, woke up feeling the same way, decided to go to urgent care, called my mom, because who doesn't need their mom to come with them to urgent care? I called my mom, and they diagnosed me with anxiety, panic attacks, and I wasn't, of course, very satisfied with that because I felt awful. And I'm not discrediting panic attacks in any way because I know, because I really did have them after living with this condition, and so I know that they are can be very debilitating. So, but I was just like, this has to be more than something than anxiety and panic. And so I went to primary care, and they were like, maybe you have asthma. Your whole family has asthma. And I'm like, okay, maybe we're getting somewhere. So they gave me a prescription for prednisone, which that sent me off the chain. Had to go to the ER because my heart was way too fast. ER worked me up for a heart attack, for a pulmonary embolism, all that good stuff. Checks, X-ray, standard. They said the same thing. Oh, you're fine. You just have anxiety. Go home. And I'm like gasping for breath right now. And obviously, I know that I can breathe because I'm looking at the monitor and I can tell that my oxygen levels are fine. But I still feel like I can't breathe. And they sent me home that way. And so I finally got to sleep that night. A lot of sleepless nights in the beginning, I can tell you that much. Like 4 in the morning. Went to work the next day. I was starting a new job, working as a nurse, and trying to make this short as I can while explaining everything. I went to primary care several more times, went to the ER twice. After that, got admitted to the hospital twice, and then finally got a consult for cardiology. And they did a tilt table test, which I've heard of but never seen until I was put through a tilt table test. And I was thinking like a roller coaster almost, like you're tilting all around. No. They put a blood pressure cuff on you, they put EKG strips on you, and they basically tilt you into a standing position, and they take your blood pressure every minute for 45 minutes, and they measure your heart rate. And I did not last 45 minutes. I lasted 28 minutes before I did a full pass out. My heart rate got faster. Blood pressure got higher. And then finally I was like, ooh, not feeling so good. And they're like, well, do you need to stop the test? And I'm like, I can't see anymore. I'm seeing stars. And so I don't really remember this part, but they tilted me back down. They were apparently like feeling for every pulse. I was at the hospital that I work at, and so it was actually my friends in the room, and they told me that they lost my blood pressure for about 3 minutes, and my heart rate went down into the 20s or 30s when I passed out. And they said they were this close to calling a code blue and having the whole cath lab come in because super weak pulse, no blood pressure at all, heart rate of like 20. And the only reason that they knew I was still there was my eyes were like dilating in and out. And I remember waking up being like, ooh, I feel really sweaty. And they're like, yeah, you basically just like temporarily sort of died for a sec. Anyways, so that's kind of scary to think about. But I'm grateful for it because I was finally diagnosed with POTS dysautonomia. POTS stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and dysautonomia is basically a dysfunction of your autonomic nervous system. So symptom wise, I have heart rate just all over the place, blood pressure all over the place, and I'm way better now of knowing when it's dropping or when it's getting fast. Basically, if I'm laying down, my heart rate might be like 60, 70. And then as soon as I stand up, it would go to like 120, 130, 140, just from going from sitting to standing. That's not even counting walking around. Walking around, it would go to like 170, 180, almost 200 heart rate wise. And so I just felt dizzy all the time, scared to get up and walk around. Kind of did develop anxiety and PTSD from this whole ordeal, depression too, not able to get up off the couch, scared to go to the grocery store, scared to drive my car because I was afraid I might wreck it because I was always feeling like I was on the edge of passing out. Acid reflux, gastroparesis, feeling like I can't swallow, feeling like I can't digest anything, feeling like I have a rock sitting in my stomach, TMI, but alternating in between constipation and diarrhea. There were times, and there still are times, especially when it's that time of the month, that I am so dizzy. I'm even dizzy in my sleep. Like, can you imagine sleeping and still being dizzy? It's not fun, and it still happens to me. So, but I know better how to deal with it now. In the beginning, I felt so bad. I was hoping for something to be wrong with me. Like when they were running tests to check for a heart attack or a pulmonary embolism, I was hoping I had that, or a thyroid problem. Like I was hoping something would be wrong with me that would be easy to fix. And I don't discredit people that have had family members or have suffered a heart attack or a pulmonary embolism. I'm not belittling that in any way, but I just wanted answers for how I could feel better. And it's kind of frustrating because if you have a chronic condition that's not curable, it's just something that you have to live with. And I had to come to terms with that and come to peace with that. So I see cardiology, I see gastroenterology, I've been scoped, endoscopy, colonoscopy, all that fun stuff. I love the prep for the colonoscopy. No. And I've had to see psych for panic attacks and anxiety brought on by living with this and feeling like I'm going to die. In the beginning, I stayed at my mom's house, and I would make my mom or my dad sleep in the living room where they could like hear me, and if I had a problem in the middle of the night. And then I would make my mom at scheduled times, like every hour, almost like I was like having my mom be my nurse. I would make her come in and check my Fitbit to make sure my heart was still working. I mean, I was that scared, and I was started on heart rate control at the time too. And I was like, what if it makes my heartbeat too slow, getting used to a new medication. So I definitely have like anxiety and almost like a PTSD kind of thing from going through all this. And it took a lot for me to be taken seriously by a doctor, because at the beginning they're like, you're only 28, you have anxiety, you're fine. And I'm like, no, something else is wrong with me. If I didn't have anxiety before, I have it now. Thank you very much. So, it's been a long road. It's taken almost a full year for me to finally feel like I can start to do things again. I wear my compression socks, sexy, and I have to drink an extra 2 to 3 liters of fluid every day and extra salt. So I'm always in like a fluid retention state. And of course I gained a lot of weight with all the extra water and salt, and then just the sedentary lifestyle where feeling like I couldn't get up and walk around. So I'm finally back in the gym. This weekend will mark 8 weeks where I've been able to be back in the gym. Obviously I can't do cardio, what am I trying to say? Anyways, I can't run or dance or anything like that. I can't do anything like that. But weightlifting I started doing, and I'm loving it. And I'm actually feeling better and it makes sense. Like I'm training my blood vessels to contract. So that's been really exciting. And anyways, I really just want to kind of cut this video off because it's almost hitting 10 minutes. So I'm really sorry. Thank you if you watched the whole thing. But if you're struggling with any kind of condition, be it visible, invisible, if you're not getting taken seriously, keep pushing forward, keep fighting. You can do this. I think it's a little bit easier sometimes with visible conditions because people can see that you're sick, and they may or may not treat you differently based on that. And I'm not discrediting you if you have a visible condition or problem. I feel for you, keep fighting. But sometimes it's harder with invisible conditions like anxiety, panic attacks, even heart failure, COPD sometimes, any of my other fellow dysautonomians out there. So it's hard because if you see someone has a broken arm or a broken leg, you're obviously going to treat them differently. You might hold the door for them. You might, or, you know, you see them coming out of a handicap spot and you're like, yeah, they deserve that handicap parking spot. But you don't think about people that are struggling with something that you can't see, and people are just a little less sympathetic to you, I think, overall when you have something like that. And you know, I'm not saying that I need to be treated special in any way. I've learned to live with it, and I've got a great support system, so that's helped me. So I hope that this has helped anyone out there that may need help or may need encouragement. Feel free to ask me any questions if you have any questions. And thank you so much for watching. Again, this is not like me to do this. So I don't know. I'm not very good at recording videos. But anyways, I hope you have a great day and keep fighting the good fight.